Hi, I'm Gerard Virga, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 16 of the Florida Family Law Attorney Podcast. And today we have a guest I've had the pleasure of having a lunch and learn with before, and she's just a wealth of information about co-parenting and co-parenting technology. We're so glad to have Rebecca Perra on. She was an attorney for a while. She's been a mediator, and now she's also the Judicial Education Coordinator for our Family Wizard. And she goes around, teaching people how to use Family Wizard, introducing them to the software, and a lot of the new innovations that this type of technology offers to parents and people in parenting relationships. So, Rebecca, thanks for coming on, and we're so glad to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I was so excited to come on and to see you again because I did have the pleasure of meeting your firm.
Well, Rebecca, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey from attorney, mediator, and now judicial educator with My Family Wizard. I mean, that's a neat journey you have, and really a unique position you have, being able to help so many attorneys help so many families.
Yeah, no, I would love to. Thank you. Yeah, I went to law school in Pennsylvania. I was young and energetic, so I took that bar and I passed the Pennsylvania bar. Got a little homesick, moved back to Connecticut. Still energetic and young. Great. Took another bar, passed that. So I ended up doing family law in Connecticut. I really enjoyed it. I also clerked in their courts for a bit in family court. I really loved it. Life took a little bit of a turn when my son was really young. He's 16 now. He had a significant speech disorder. I mean, now if you met him, he's 16, you'd have no idea. Stayed home for like a minute, still doing pro bono work and all, but thought, okay, I'll just go back. And then the economy was not so great. So we said, you know what? My husband's family's in Florida. Let's go. So here we are about 12 years later. And yeah, it's been a journey. We're in the Tampa Bay area. I love it here. And I decided, no, I don't have a third bar in me. I thought about it, but no. So I found mediation. I was certified as a family and dependency mediator. And then an opportunity arose to work at our Family Wizard, spreading the good word about the app. And I do this in the Southeast and nationally. And I love it because I've always loved the app even before I worked for them.
Oh, that's really quite the story. And, I could see why you don't have a third bar in you.
I don't.
We have an associate who's a law clerk who's hoping to become an associate and has taken the bar exam. And I've been teasing her when I see her that it's nothing but a pop quiz. But I still think about that bar exam, and every July I think about the month I spent thinking I didn't pass it, and I passed it, but it's
I've heard
definitely
Florida's
a
brutal
challenge.
too. I've heard
Yeah,
Florida's
Florida,
super hard.
the people who write the Florida ones have a special place.
That's no place out there.
Yeah. So for people out there who aren't familiar with our Family Wizard, can you tell them what it is exactly?
Of course, yeah. Our Family Wizard is a co-parenting communication platform. I say platform because it can be used as an app. They can log in through a browser. There's different, ways they can use it. It's really intended to replace the 10 million places that parents can co-parent in, like email, text messages, calendar, FaceTime, and puts it all in one app. So parents can basically replace the 10 places and do calls, calendar, messaging all in one happy little co-parenting bubble, as I call it.
That's very helpful, obviously, for people out there who are new to co-parenting or maybe going into a new life where they're going to be co-parenting now. Keeping track of all the communications, all that whether they're evidence or whether you're just trying to keep everything straight now between two households, and not having to scroll through text, not trying to remember if it was an email, being able to share information in that platform and then create one safe place for it. And one of the things I like about uh, our Family Wizard is it's a safe place
Hmm.
that nobody's going to tamper with it. No one's going to delete it. It's there. It's in the hands of professionals, and that data is secure for if there is a conflict that arises or an issue about the communication. You can go right back to it as the attorney or the judge, and it's a kind of airtight place to keep it. Um, let me ask you this as a mediator and as an attorney. Were those personal conflicts that you witnessed trying to resolve them either through litigation or through mediation Is that what really drew you into being a representative for our family wizard, trying to help with that problem in the community?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I still joke. I wanted to go to law school to save the world. Like I think many of us do. You think you're going to make, and I truly believe in the work that I do. And we are a mission driven company with the mission being to help families living separate thrive. And in both my personal and professional life, I've seen good divorces. I've seen divorces go way off the rail. And I truly, truly believe in what I do, and that better communication can truly mean better outcomes for the kiddos. So I definitely felt drawn to work at this app and spread the word about it.
Yeah, I mean, in my practice, I think a lot of times communication is maybe the root, or the lack of communication or communication problems, maybe the root of the divorce in some ways. And then you have two people who are already having communication issues, and then you put them in the middle of litigation, it gets worse. And then, like you were saying, the children really become the victims of the poor communication, as you can't co-parent without the communication. So, this the software I think is invaluable. Now, tell me, and everybody out there who's never seen it or is maybe not technologically savvy, is it on my phone? Is it on my computer? Where do I access it? And what does it really do for me? And because I know it has,
Yeah.
yeah, you spent a good hour with us, and I don't think we unpackaged all the neat perks and applications that it has. I mean, it's really really in depth program.
Yeah, no, it's truly wherever people need it to be. I think for the most part, people are on their phones. It's a wonderful app. I mean, it's just cute. It's user friendly. It's so easy to use. They can use a desktop if they desire, but most users tend to use the app on their phone. So yeah, that's most of where we find users is the phone. And even there was a time when I was mediating, I was at the courts and we did the lower income cases through the courts. And almost everybody had a phone. Whatever income level you fell in, almost everyone had a phone. So I find that the most widely used method.
Well, so basically, it's a messaging app,
Mhm.
so I can message my co-parent, "Hey, this happened today," or "Hey, the child's got a cold, and I gave him Tylenol at this time." Obviously, those useful messages, but what else does it do besides just plain messaging? What separates it from a text message other than secure one location?
No, I really think, I mean, for co-parents trying to juggle, as I said, it puts it in 10 places to one. But let's be realistic, there's family law for a reason. Not everybody's getting along. People go to court, they litigate, and what our family wizard does is it basically keeps airtight documentation. So in the messaging, let's say, once a message is sent, you can't unsend it. You can't edit it, you can't delete it. So if there's any element of conflict, gaslighting, um different types of control, like it really could call it a very safe platform because it prevents that sort of manipulation. A message is sent, it is sent forever. And when you bring documents to court, those messages are time stamped, they are date stamped, and it just provides like very clear and concise records for court. And our company is nationwide. In fact, we're international now, and I think every court just recognizes the OFW platform and the messaging reports and the call reports.
So, when I message somebody, because this always comes up, because in Florida, our default is shared parental responsibility, which means that both parents have to meet, confer, and make major decisions about the kids together. And one parent will say, tell me I've texted or I've sent my message and about the summer camp, and the kids want to go to summer camp, and trying to see where the other parent falls on that, and there's no response. Does the OFW create a record of, hey, it was sent, hey, it was received, and hey, it was ignored? Does it
Yeah,
log that type
no,
of data?
absolutely. And I think I always say it takes out the black and white in these scenarios. It makes it abundantly clear. Everything is documented. If I have a 14-minute call and I muted 13 of those minutes, that's going to be in a report. If somebody doesn't view a message, that will be in a report. When a message was sent, that will be in a report. If I send a receipt over to my co parent and say, I need reimbursement X, Y, and Z, it avoids the co parent saying, you sent that 75 days late. No, I didn't. I sent, let's go to the OFW reports. Again, everybody in the world says, show me the receipts. It literally shows the receipts.
You must have been one heck of a family law attorney, because your hypotheticals are still on point. I hear that all the time. That I sent it the same day I
Yeah.
got it, and They're saying I didn't ever send it or send it late. So, I think you touched on two really big features for OFW there, and that kind of gives us an opportunity to segue into those. You talked about sending receipts or money requests, and then you sent on phone calling and video calling. Can you break down how OFW has those platforms built into it, so it kind of becomes a complete ecosystem for parent communication?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything parents would need are it's really in one space. The calls are placed through the app. So let's say it's a high conflict case, they don't even need to exchange phone numbers. I'm even seeing it used in dependency cases that involve CPS if there's a guardian that doesn't want to share their phone number. So the calls have been wonderful. We have two versions. We have unrecorded and recorded. If a case involves a guardian ad litem or a parenting coordinator, the recorded calls have been a very popular choice so that an outside professional can view the communication. So that's been really nice versus from what I hear from attorneys, like tracking down FaceTime, it just can be a lot. So you have it all in one place.
Yeah, I can give you a little perspective on that.
Sure, I would love that.
So, I mean, we have, issues here in family law where we're sending our client down to Verizon to get records and then sending them with a records custodian affidavit and trying to get someone at Verizon to sign that to get the records authenticated that they called at this time and there was no answer. That's a nightmare.
Yes, yes.
It's been much easier to be able to send the request to our family wizard and have you guys certify it and send it to us. And it's a platform probably that the court's ordered, so it's going to be a lot less questioned.
Yeah.
And then your other option we have all the time is we have a relationship with an IT person, and the client ends up having to pay the IT person to have him extract all the text messages in that thread, using approved software to do that, and that's pretty costly, especially when you look at the relative inexpense of our family wizard, and all the other benefits it's going to keep giving you throughout the year. So, that's one of the reasons I really like it, and always try to encourage it in court orders, and that we have some forum like our family wizard to handle this now. So if I send my ex-wife a receipt for a orthodontics bill, as every family law attorney, their half your career is spent arguing about braces, it seems like.
Absolutely, yes.
I send the orthodontics bill, I send it through our family wizard. She obviously gets notified. Can she pay me through it? Is there a way like Cash App
Yes.
through it, or how do y'all do that?
Absolutely. It's actually called OFW Pay, and it's going to function essentially like a Venmo or Zelle. So as soon as you send it, one, it's going to be tracked that you sent it. Because whenever I'm preparing a parenting plan, I set a timeline, like exchange within 30 days, 45 days. And so one, it's going to say, hey, this was sent on time. So that's number one. And there will be a report associated with that. And two, then yeah, the other co-parent can just send the money over through OFW Pay. And OFW, it even breaks down the costs if it's unpaid, unreimbursed medical or orthodontia, and they put it as a 70-30 split. It's going to do the math for them and say, you owe this, and then they can pay it right then and there with OFW Pay.
So you set that up in the beginning, if it's a kind of a pro rata split as opposed to a 50-50 when you first get in, and it just sticks with that calculation.
Yeah, absolutely. I generally say sit down with your parenting plan and just put them all in and do the breakdown. It'll do the math for you.
When are you guys going to come up with the auto draft where it just automatically pulls it out?
Well, we did incorporate an AI tool, so honestly, I could see a world where a lot gets a lot easier.
Yeah, I'm joking.
No,
I could just see it now. My ex auto drafted through my family wizard and just took the we'd lose a large chunk of our clients that way if it was auto
yeah,
draft.
we won't go
But
too far.
and that's I'm joking, because you have to have a little sense of humor when you're dealing with stuff like this. But realistically, to have that documentation, have the ability to pay it, the record that you actually paid it, because if you come here and say I paid it, I'm gonna say great. Well,
Yeah,
I need a bank statement, I need a check, I need a clear check, I need documentation that you gave her the check. All those things are gonna, come into play, and or we could just log into my family wizard or our family wizard and get that information.
absolutely.
Um, that's just in savings on legal fees and headaches. That's a big deal.
Yeah, and
It's
they can
really
even pay
powerful.
child support and alimony to avoid Department of Revenue because I know that it can be a headache. I'm not saying it always is, but it can be sometimes. So if they can even use OFW pay to pay that as well.
Well, so what you're saying is, let me follow that. So, like with us, we pay through the state disbursement unit. You're saying I could wire or pay through our family wizard straight to the state disbursement unit by actually ongoing child support.
No, they could pay each other. So if it's going to
Okay.
the state disbursement, it's if they wanted to keep because I know sometimes I don't know currently what the rules are. I guess it's been a minute since I've had updates on child support. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, they would be for paying each other. We
Okay.
can't unfortunately send it to the state disbursement unit, but wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. And
Wouldn't
maybe
that be nice if we could? But it will keep a record.
with you guys and your innovation, stay tuned. It's probably
I
coming.
know, you never know.
So, another one you were talking about was the phone calls.
Mhm.
But I have a case, or I had a case recently where the My Family or Our Family Wizard app was really critical because they were doing child communications with the other parent through it, and they had the recording feature and the recording platform, because there had been some allegations of domestic violence, and the videos were the main evidence, like because it was in Florida you have to have everybody's consent to record.
Yes, yeah.
OFW, lets everybody know it's being recorded. It's on the recorded platform. And then, it makes those videos. And, I thought that was very powerful because it really captured what was going on between the parent and the child and some of the alienation that was going on during those phone calls. And when you're dealing with younger kids who, may or may not be allowed to testify, and to have those authenticated videos and have those come from a trusted source was our key into that
Mhm.
case. So
Oh,
to
that's
tell
great.
everybody how that works, and is that something you have to get court ordered for? Is that just something that if it beeps and it tells them it's being recorded, we
No,
get to select not to? How do y'all
well,
handle that?
we do have wonderful model order language, which I'm happy to send you, so it can be court ordered. I mean, if that's their preference. It has been it has been such a tremendous tool. I truly and I'll say this, I will go on a limb. I truly think OFW is the platform if there's concerns of domestic violence or safety. One, it's always free for domestic violence survivors. I don't know if your listeners know that, but it is. So that's one. Two, with the recorded calls, they can be viewed by the court, by the attorneys, because we have professional access. Professional access is always free. It's available for mental health providers, guardian ad litems. So they can, as you said, go in, view the communications, see what's happening. And they will not accidentally end up recorded. As you were saying, it's consent to place it. You have to consent to this is being placed and consent to receiving it. Our model order language provides for unrecorded calls and recorded calls. So I think it's the preference of the parties, the preference of the court. What would they like to see? So I've seen both parties pick it and then courts pick it.
For people out there who may say, why would I pick that? If you're obviously a victim of domestic violence or something like that, it's obvious.
Yeah,
But if you're not, why would you pick it? Because it's evidence that you're not engaging in those behaviors. Because anybody who's done this long enough knows that there's lots of false allegations that fly around in family law, in divorce cases and custody cases. And it's a good insurance policy. Hey, hey, we can open it up right now and look, and you can see that, I'm having nothing but decent, wholesome conversations, and this isn't true. So it can be a great defense. It can be a great offense. It works both
absolutely.
ways.
Yeah.
One of the things that really struck me at the lunch and learn we attended with you, because I'm a big geek, I love
Me too.
technology. My wife always jokes that I'm going to be the lawyer who broke AI, because I'm always saying, can it do this? And what can we do next?
Yeah.
But I think, we all have to realize that we're kind of coming up to a major change here in society, in the world with AI, and, in communication, because AI really is a very powerful communication tool. And I'm guilty of using it for, of course, I write something. I write it like somebody's been practicing family law for 20 years. I have on occasion given it to my client, and my client doesn't understand a darn word of it.
That's
So I have been, here's what I wrote. Can you make it less legalese? Can you make it, and control the tone, the different things. And so when you were telling me that about this new feature, it really struck a chord with me. So I'll let you kind of tell
Yeah.
everybody about the new feature and where you guys are going with that.
Yeah, it's super, super exciting. And we are definitely the only platform that has this. So, what we were getting feedback, OFW, I think anybody in the family law space knows we try to stay in the legal community. We try to stay connected to firms and lawyers and parents. And what we were hearing were parents were going to ChatGPT, putting in a message, plugging it back in our family wizard. And with OFW, we're all about safety, security, privacy, keep, in house, if you will. So we hired an AI person, a very smart person, and he created a AI tool for the co-parenting space in our family wizard, just for our family wizard alone. So the parents, I love ChatGPT, do not get me wrong. So they're not putting their information out in the wide world open, it's within the app. So if the parent were to write a message, let's say it's a really mean message. What it will do is Tone Meter will first flag it and say negative, like negative, this is negative language. But what it does now, and this was just introduced like 2 to 3 weeks ago, is they can generate a suggestion. So it will say, like, try this. And then if they like the suggestion, they can say, great, apply it. And I was just talking to an attorney earlier. If I was practicing, there is not a world I wouldn't want my client to use it. Because even if they're okay communicators, it makes them sound real. It makes them sound good. And the other thing it does too, I think when there's emotion involved, it can get very long winded. So it also can keep it concise, which I love and appreciate. They don't have to use it. And OFW does not censor parents. They can absolutely let any messages fly. But this is, I
As a
think,
lawyer, can I pay extra for you to censor it?
I know, but it's not an extra price, it's not an extra cost, it's a wonderful feature. It has been received extraordinarily well, because as we were saying, the bad communication and the high conflict ultimately hurts the kids. I mean, that's it. And so I think by keeping the communication on the up and up, it is better for the family and the kids.
Well, I'll tell you, like I said, I've been doing this for a long
Yeah.
time. And I can't tell you the number of times I have said, you get the message, put the phone down, wait 10 minutes, type up your model response. If you have a new significant other or family member or somebody who's, the level headed, not emotionally involved person, read it to them, make sure everybody's good with it, then hit send.
Yes.
Because it is just too easy to thunder thumb, with the first thing,
Absolutely.
you're thinking and your emotions are high. And then, what inevitably happens is, hey, I have these text messages here. And sir, do you recognize what I'm showing you? And did you write? And that damages your case.
Yeah.
So to have the tone moderator, help you be aware of
Mhm.
the tone, because a lot of times, when you're texting or you're communicating, I don't even think we realize, you know, we don't even, like, if it's all caps and somebody's assuming that you're yelling when you're just a bad typer.
Yes.
Or, so to alert the parent to that, and then, to offer the suggestions, and then, like you were saying, the brevity,
Mhm.
because,
Yes.
if anyone's ever out there listening, had their deposition taken, it's normally keep the answer short,
Yes.
only answer the question that was asked. Don't volunteer a whole book. And brevity sometimes goes a long way. And then, clarity,
Yes.
because it inevitably will happen where someone has asked something, then there's the book response, and then but what happens is the communication goes this way, and the initial you never got a yes,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then you've now enrolled the kid in summer camp, and there's
Yeah.
no yes, and I'm like, there was never an agreement. You
Yeah.
thought they agreed, but it didn't happen. I can't find it here in the record. So I think that's very powerful stuff. And then, on a much more broader, bigger scale, and it neat that perhaps this new technology will, maybe help parents learn how to communicate following a divorce, or maybe, end animosity, if the if you read the AI and the AI is accurate and it's not misstated anything, stop the negativity, because at the end, that would be great if it helped a lot of children in these circumstances. Because I tell people all the times, one positive step forward, one act of goodwill starts to change the whole dialogue. But
Absolutely.
someone's got to be the first person sometimes to go out there and, be the person who puts themselves out there with the goodwill or
Yeah.
the polite communication. And then, hopefully maybe we start taking the temperature down and we get back to just communicating and talking like people who love our kids,
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think that is very powerful, very neat. And, you talked about Chat GPT. I actually handled a case in the pleadings, so it's public record. The parent was accused of using Chat GPT to write responses. And I'm like, that's not contempt. There's no contempt there. Like, there's no court order that says you can't use it. And that's what they were trying to, use it before you guys had
Yeah.
the tone moderator and everything else that's out there, that you've done.
They're trying to do better. And I think at the end of the day, some people just aren't great communicators and might have good intentions. So maybe using ChatGPT was just their way of trying, I
Yeah.
guess.
I mean, sometimes, with Chat GPT or with AI, you can give it like just a few bullet points,
Mhm.
like summer camp, need permission, and it'll write it out for you, and also, be a kind of a way to help you stay on track that I asked about everything I need to ask about. So
Yeah.
let me ask you this as a mediator, as a spokesperson for My Family Wizard and a family law attorney. What's the most common communication breakdown, you see between co-parents?
I mean, I think there's so many different places communication can break down. I think let's take two examples. Let's talk a family that's getting along. They're well meaning, they're well intentioned, but maybe they're both busy working professionals. Maybe they're juggling four children and they're just struggling. And just, one missed calendar item, one missed message, one missed field trip report, and that can just create animosity that's totally unnecessary. And again, with our family wizard, they can put everything in one centralized location. So that's the nice family. That's the good family. But I think if they're, and I'm not saying high conflict is, they're probably wonderful people, but going through a very stressful situation. And I often find a mediation, I always joke there's a sweet spot of mediation. And the first 6 months is almost like sometimes they're too heated and they're too emotional, where I don't get as many agreements as if it's about 6 months plus. And I think
Yeah.
just bringing the temperature down. And I think the communication, I can visually see when somebody feels left out or they don't feel like they're on an equal platform. I will tell people all the time our family wizard creates an equal playing field. You can load every child school field trip form in the info bank. We have an info bank, which is a storage tool. You can put in the child's pant size, shoe size, insurance card. So everybody has equal access to the things, all things involving the children. And I think that can often prevent these breakdowns of communication, of civility, of cases. I mean, uh,
I think, that's a really good point you make because I know for years I would not get notified or certain documents from the school, even though I'm, an equal co parent. I wouldn't get certain alerts like we're closed tomorrow due to inclement weather. And I never could understand why I did not get those because I got the invoice for the
yeah,
private school, but I didn't
yeah,
get any other messages. And
yeah.
I was told that that school only notified the mother, and
I
that was it.
believe it though. I really believe it. Yeah.
And so inevitably, if you're the person who carries the insurance for the children, then the insurance company is communicating with you.
Hmm.
If in our area in Bay County, Florida, our school system uses a method of whoever enrolls the child in school, so whoever fills out that card is the enrolling parent and they get the information and then that's that. Like, hey, we've met our obligation. We gave it to the person who signed the card. So one parent is going to probably get certain information. Another parent may be the point person for other information. But having that like vault that you can put it
Hmm.
in so everybody can see, because I tell people all the time, they'll say the court order says that he has to get his own records. I'm like, that's what the court order says.
Yeah.
But if we go back to a modification in the future, something's not
Hmm.
working out, and you can say, hey, I know the court order said that was the minimum, like, but I went ahead and I proactively did this and I tried to co parent. That just makes you look good.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
honestly, it never ever is a good thing when one of the parents don't know that the football practice change dates or doesn't have the updated school calendar that maybe went out to only one parent. And you don't want to be the parent who caused your kids to be driven to school and their school
Yeah.
uniforms ready to go to find out the school was closed because you didn't share the information.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the calendar feature too. If somebody, again, it takes out the game playing. So if I'm the parent who knows about the school cancellation and you see I put it on the calendar at 11:59 a.m. that it's canceled at noon, that's all going to come clear in the records.
Yeah.
And that's going to show the court, look, this is not well-meaning to put 11:59 a.m. an event for 12 p.m. And I can fully concur with what you've said. I've been married 19 years. Manatee County has not once sent my husband something.
Yeah.
Not once.
It's some of these districts, it's the
Oh my
enrolling
gosh.
parent. The private school was
Yeah.
the mom, and then, as a dad who had gone through a
Yeah.
divorce and, who had, 2 children and having to do the co-parenting thing, I was like,
Hey.
not everybody's married still, and then there are
Exactly.
some kids here who probably,
Yeah.
unfortunately, don't have a mom or don't have a dad and only have one parent, and
Mhm.
it was just they went by the mom. That was how
Yeah.
it went. I think after I talked to them, they maybe rethought that, but um, that's an invaluable tool that you offer. And
Mm.
then one thing we always tell our clients to do is keep notes, keep records, I'm pretty sure if I understand this correctly, that you guys have a journaling option as well.
We do. Yeah. Our journal is a wonderful feature. It has basically two main parts. The first one, they can absolutely, it's called the moment section. The moments you can take notes and you can create them as personal. So I can create a note for myself. I can also create a note just for my attorney. So if I just want to say, when to pick up no shoes again, I mean, whatever it is, I can keep these notes for my attorney as well. So it really does function like a journal. Or in moments, they can share pictures. Again, going back to safety and security, I call it almost a safe social media for the parents because most family lawyers, it's a no go to follow each other on social media. But say they want to share a picture or a photo from a football game or whatever, you can load it in the moments. We do scrub the metadata so there can't be any tracking of parents through the photos. So that can be a really nice trust building tool. So that's part one of the journal. And then part two is the check ins. It's basically, that's our GPS verified tool. It basically puts a pin in a location. So if you have clients or any attorneys of clients that are coming, or even just parents pro se, and they're having a rocky exchange. And when they come to mediation, it's hard because as the mediator, I'm hearing two things. And that's why I love when they come in with OFW records because it takes out the he said, she said. It takes out, I was there at the park at 11 a.m. and the other parent saying, no, they were not there at the park. With the check in feature, which is also part of the journal, it basically, with permission, they'll have to toggle on a location because we don't follow parents. It will put a pin in their location. And maybe they're not even comfortable with the other parent knowing that they're there, but they can create a check in just to show their attorney for court purposes. I'm where I'm supposed to be. Parents will even use this if they've been ordered to anger management. They'll put a pin to show they were at the office or whatever. I see it in dependency for certain drug screens. It's a really great tool and we don't follow them. So it would require a quick toggle of permission and then it defaults to not, it doesn't track them, if you will.
I can see that being really helpful with pickups and drop offs
Yes. Yeah.
because I hear all the time, I'm at the gas station at this intersection where we're supposed to meet. I got here 30 minutes
Mhm.
early. I'm waiting and they didn't show up with the kids.
Yes.
Then, when I get down the road, I'm hearing, the case goes further. Oh no, they were there and he wasn't there. And, that would definitely nip that in the bud. And then, two, it's a shame that we have cases like this, but I've had parents who want to go watch the baseball game, but it's not their day for time sharing
Yeah.
and they don't want to be on the bleachers, up close by home plate by their with their eggs or soon to be eggs. And then it'll come up that, well, he didn't come to the baseball game.
Mhm.
And my clients, I was sitting by center field. I was in my car parked behind center field. I watched the whole ball game. I just didn't want to,
Yeah.
be there. And not everything, in these cases often, you're a mediator, this. Sometimes if you have the right evidence,
Mhm.
maybe we don't have that hearing or we don't have that
Oh,
trial because when
100%.
the other attorney says, well, he didn't show up for this and didn't show up for
Yeah.
that, and you have all these logs, then
It saved many a contempt hearing because it takes out the back and forth, like he said, she said, "I was there. No, you weren't. Yes, you were. I paid this. No, you didn't." It really takes it out, and it does save many. I meet with many judges. I present to many courts, and it can really cut down on contempts.
yeah, I think it's that little bit of precaution and forethought and organization, can save you. I mean, countless attorney hours and attorney's fees, not counting, time off work to deal with litigation. And just let's face it, anytime you're involved in any litigation, there's a lot of stress.
Yes,
And that's avoidable with this, with this type of software.
absolutely.
So I guess, one thing I've always, been interested in, I don't think I asked during our lunch and learn. Do you guys, I mean, maybe maybe you don't know, but do you keep records on parents who aren't going through a divorce who actually use the software? Because I've thought about it before, like the vault, the shoe sizes, the
Mm.
insurance card, the this to that. It would be nice, like to have it all in one spot. Or, my wife and I go back and forth because the Clio calendar is the one I look at because that's the work calendar.
Uh-huh.
There's the Apple family calendar, which is where she puts stuff. Now, like, but it's not on the Clio calendar. And she's like, that's because I don't put it, having one unified calendar and having these communication tools, even if you're not fighting or you're
Yeah.
not going through anything, just kind of sometimes strikes me as like it might be invaluable just to keep everybody organized.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I tell people all the time, it really creates a co-parenting bubble where it takes it from a million spaces and puts it in two. So if you have two busy working professionals, even if they're getting along. So in this example too, I was presenting to a firm in Tampa once, and a attorney raised her hand. She said, "Oh, we love this app." I'm like, "Oh, that's great. You and your co-parent." She's like, "Oh no, I'm very married." I'm like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "It's a great organization tool." I'm like, "Well, there you go."
My wife introduced me to a new term, Maycember. I was like, "What is
Oh my
Maycember?"
gosh. I
And
just
she's
had a
like, "That's
child
December. It's
graduate,
just like
so
May. It's like the end of
it's
the year, and they put all these at school events, and they have this, and
yes,
who's got an exam, and who's got a." And
it's real.
it made me think of our family wizard because it was. I told you about this. I don't remember you telling me about this. No, I
Yep.
texted it. Hey, no, the school emailed this, and
It's like you're in my house, Joe.
yeah,
We just had a senior graduate, so it was literally like a third job.
yeah,
Maycember
yeah.
was real.
And I foresee probably, like I was reading the other day, which I think every lawyer could appreciate. I'm not really ready to trust it yet, but I was reading about some AI that now lives in your inbox and it tries to sort and prioritize the messages and put them in the appropriate folders, and it calls your attention to things that are urgent. And, I was thinking about the day that, probably something like that will probably be hooked to the our family wizard of, "Oh, it's an email
Yeah.
from Bay High School. It
Mhm.
needs to go to the co-parent." I had it in the queue just to prove it, for, to send it over there. It's probably coming.
I think I like where you're thinking because truly, I mean, we have an AI person and he wasn't just hired to create Tone Meter AI. Of course, that was step one. But where it's going, I'm so excited to find out. I don't know what he's brilliant and I don't know where his mind's going to go next or where our company is going to go next, but I'll definitely keep you posted.
Yeah, I like thinking about where we'll be,
Yeah,
but
me
you
too.
know, I will tell you, like, why I love technology. It's like the double-edged sword because
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody, a younger attorney the other day. She's very good with her inbox, her emails, and everything's email. And I told her, I was like, sometimes I just miss the days where you had to write it down and go get your stamp and take it to the post office at 3 o'clock. And you had to make that decision. Is that communication really that important, or is it just
Yes.
something I can let go? But, I think that's very, very interesting where we're gonna see this stuff go.
Yeah.
I got one other questions for
Yeah.
you about our family wizard, and it involves, an issue that came up the other day, and maybe it's a misuse of it or failure to know what to do, really deal with this. So this person would ask a question. They would basically not get the answer that they wanted.
Mhm.
Instead of staying on that thread,
Oh,
they'd open a new thread, and then there'd be like 10 threads about the same topic and trying to, is there a way to limit the threads, or is there a way to
oh,
consolidate the threads so
as
that
it
somebody can't
stands
play the thread game with
I
you?
know. As it stands now, I tell people they're still humans and we can't prevent that, but I always encourage attorneys or mediators if they're the one drafting the parenting plan, just keep it as specific as possible. Like when using OFW, keep one thread per subject. I mean, cuz then if it's ordered, they have parameters. And that way if they're going like soccer thread and then they create soccer thread 5, like no, keep it in one place. So I think just by specifying as much as humanly possible the parenting plans and the parameters, that's the best workaround for that.
Well, let me ask you this. If you're a parent
Mhm.
and you're going through a family law situation and you want to sign up or get more information about our family wizard, where can people go to, get a, get the information they need, maybe test out. I think you guys offer a free version that they can test
Yeah.
out. Tell us a little bit about that.
No, absolutely. Our Family Wizard, our website is a wealth of information. It's just ourfamilywizard.com, familywizard.com. Tremendous wealth of information. If parents, are struggling financially or whatever, they can always reach out to me. I'm RPERRA at ourfamilywizard.com. We are always, I say to people, our mission is to help families living separately thrive, not help rich families living separately thrive. So there is a place and a use for anyone of any income. So if they just reach out to me, I'm always happy to help. And if anybody listening had any questions, I'm always happy to help.
Well, Rebecca, we're surrounded by, I think, 5 military bases.
Yes.
So almost all of our clients, or a good percentage of our clients, are active duty, veteran, or a lot of our clients are military dependents. Is there any discounts for those individuals in those categories?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you to all of your clients who might be listening for their service. Yes, we do have a buy one, get one, a BOGO, let's use a Publix word, for current or former military reservist, whatever they might be doing. It's going to be a buy one, get one. So, whatever plan they purchase, a co parent would get free. And then what generally happens is they alternate, it'll just flip years of who gets the free account. And that's available for any military, current or former or reserve.
And you mentioned earlier about victims of domestic
Hmm.
violence, that they're eligible for free accounts. How do they go about procuring a free account, and
Hmm.
what evidence do they have to show that they were a victim of domestic violence? How does that work?
Yeah, well, I mean, they can always reach out to me. If I have a lot, I work very closely with courts, with judges, with lawyers. So if they're in a hearing, I mean, I know many people throughout the state, but they can always reach out with my email, rparrot, ourfamilywizard.com, if they had any questions. If they're working with a domestic violence advocate, I work with many of those. Yeah, I mean, really, they can either have their professional, if they're working with an advocate, reach out, they can reach out. I think most courts or JAs have my information. They can always reach out. So I try to make myself as available as possible and help
Well,
out the community as much as I can.
look, your enthusiasm for our family wizard, and for, more importantly, for helping, parents learn how to co-parent and protect kids from the results of bad communication. I mean, it just shows through and through from your lunch and learn, and then today on the podcast. And we're definitely going to have you back because I want to see where this AI stuff goes.
Yeah, me too.
And it's, maybe AI will be able to get us past all of these problems. I'm hoping that teaching people how to communicate, having your own kind of private communication coach there in the window to
Exactly.
enhance your communications in a positive way is I think, a very powerful thing in our business. But no, we really do appreciate you giving us your time and your insights on this, and we're definitely going to have you back on.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Thank you so much. It was my honor and pleasure. And I love seeing you and everyone at your firm. And truly, it's been my honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, and we look forward to having you back on. All right.
Yes, please.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye bye.